this is our first regional town hall since we started 2026. So Happy New Year, although it feels kind of late to be saying that. It's I really enjoy coming together and seeing all your faces on the screen. So thank you for being here and being with us. Thanks, Barbara Lynn, for your earlier sharing. That's just part of what we want to do when we come together here is to hear a little bit about what's happening and to connect you a bit with each other. We're trying out a new format for the town halls and really using them as an opportunity for connection between you and those of us who are serving in leadership at the regional level, and to make it an opportunity for you to really know all the things that are happening across the region and to hear from your regional executive on a regular basis and to give you an opportunity to ask questions and to make sure that you feel connected and feel like you have the information that you need to take back to your communities of faith and to help us all feel like the church together and to continue to build community together because we know that our strength um, comes from the holy, but also from us being together and working together towards our mutual goals. So we'll start our time today with a time for worship and connecting, and Karen Medland is going to offer leadership to that beginning part of this gathering.
Thanks, Treena. Hi, everyone. Good to see you all. I'm just going to share my screen and hopefully this will work. This was always my worst nightmare during the lockdown period was I always got these things wrong. But I'm going to start by sharing a piece for our land acknowledgement.
I'm not hearing any sound.
Oh. Sorry, you didn't hear the sound there, Treena? Is that what you're saying?
Nope, no sound. You'll have to stop share and reshare with the
I
sound.
did click the button. Now we'll try that again. See if it
Zoom
works.
gremlins.
Let's see if it works this time.
Way back, many, many years ago, my great uncle asked my grandfather, "How long have we been here?" He relayed a story about carrying a way of life as Niitsitapi, the Blackfoot speaking people. The prairie region was dominated by the prairie grizzly bear. The prairie grizzly bear said, "You have to make treaty with everything in this prairie land. The animals, the birds, the fish, the water, the hills, the rocks. They all live in beings." He said, "I will move to the southern region." And so they became Saukitsutapi, the people of the plains, of the open country.
We were part of the ecosystem. We were not masters of it. The buffalo and the moose and the elk and the antelope and the deer and the grass and the trees were more than us.
Well, we were raised to believe that everything has a spirit and that everything around us is alive and has a purpose.
We praise Creator, giver of life. We give thanks to Mother Earth.
You know, after we grow up from our biological mothers, the earth becomes our caregiver. Everything that we need is there.
And we're supposed to honor the Creator with all our life And we're supposed to look after the gift of the land that he gave us to live on.
For us, the land tells us the story. I mean, it's just story after story. Oh, this happened here, this happened here, this happened over here.
Mokins, the story is not be the old man standing with his bow and his elbows on this side.
And that was how our warriors pictured the landscape.
All the tributaries run into the bow. It's the mother of all water that flows through.
People came there. They asked, "What's the name of this river?" They said, "We cut our bow from the choke cherry trees. They're strong and powerful. We named this river the Bow, Namakhta."
I was born and raised in a road allowance, a strip of land that the farmers didn't want and the government didn't have no use for. Métis were just out on their own. We didn't belong anywhere. In Treaty 7 territory, I'm accepted, I'm something, and I'm with my people.
Because you're in the territory of your ancestors, no, this is home. Something that we pass on to our children and to our grandchildren.
This land has to be acknowledged. The people that took care of this land for a long time have to be acknowledged. You know, at least find the truth about us.
I'm a residential school.
I have no volume.
But it's up to me to have courage and go back and learn the ways of my people. The elders will say, I pray that the young people will not forget the Creator. The true acknowledgement of the land every day.
We honor our ancestors by acknowledging Treaty 7 territory. We acknowledge the Treaty 7 nations, the Piikani First Nation, the Siksika First Nation, the Gana First Nation, the Stoney Nakoda First Nations, and the Tsuut'ina First Nation. We acknowledge the ancestral territory of the Siksikaitsitapi, the Blackfoot Confederacy, and the home of Métis Region number 3.
And with that, we recognize that we are also part of the history of this land, that all of those who have gone before us are part of who we are, and that we as people are called in the faith to reconcile and make new with the history and the peoples of the land who have gone before us. I invite you to join me in prayer. Let us pray. Creator God, who gives life and light to us this day, we pray for all those who are experiencing darkness and who struggle to see the light. We pray for the darkness in our world and that the light of peace may overwhelm it. We gather here to be light and life to one another across the region. Seeing one another's faces this day reminds us that we are not alone, that there is community even beyond the places that we live and worship in. We offer thanks for the leadership of our executive as they hold up for us the vision for our region, for all of the ministry personnel who serve, for the lay leaders who give the gifts of their time and talents, and to all who are part of our region. We pray that your light of life and love shine for them as they offer to be light unto others. These are our prayers, O God, and we offer them to you in the name of the light of the world. Amen. This Sunday The psalm is Psalm 27 from the lectionary readings, and I thought I would share a different reading or a different style of reading of the psalm with you for our worship today. And then I have a couple of questions for some small group time after that. So Mauricio, once this video has finished playing, I'm going to give some questions, and then if we can break into small groups, that would be great.
The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Lord, you are my shelter, God of my salvation. I am not forsaken, Lord, my shield and protector. Waiting on your promise, I will see your goodness, Lord. When the troubles arise, no foe can harm me. You are my peace. You are my peace. You lift me above the raging storm. You conquer my enemies. Lord, you are my shelter, God of my salvation. I am not forsaken, Lord, my shield and protector. Waiting on your promise, I will see your goodness, Lord. One thing I have asked, to see your beauty. This I will seek, this I will seek, to dwell in your house, to walk in your ways. Your presence is all I need. You are my shelter, God of my salvation. I'm not forsaken, Lord, shield and protector. Waiting on your promise, I will see your goodness, Lord. Sing this with us. I wait for the Lord in faith, trusting your word. I wait for the Lord in faith, trusting your word. I wait for the Lord I will see your goodness, oh Lord.
And Karen, how many people should be in each room and for how long?
Maybe 4 or 5 for
Okay.
about uh, maybe 6 or 7 minutes
Okay.
would
More
be great.
like maybe do 6.
Do
6. Okay.
6? Okay.
Yeah. Um, if you are tempted to leave because we're going into small groups, just remember that even if it's not something that benefits you, your presence in that group might benefit someone else. So encourage you to go into the small groups and be together in community.
Thanks, Trina. So, we're in this season of Epiphany, and the scriptures for this week are all about light. And so I thought I would offer you the question to share is where do you see, you have 2 options. Where do you see light in your community of faith? Or can you name a moment where you have seen God's light in your own life? And that's our questions. I will type them in the chat. Thanks everyone for taking some time in small group. So just to finish off our time of worship together, I just want to play for our reflection one more piece of music. This is actually my favorite hymn out of More Voices, and it doesn't get sung enough. And I know why, but I still love it. And it speaks about the light of God in our lives. So I'm just going to share one more time for us.
Amara, oh,
our God, who brings the light into our darkness. The God who shares the breath of life with you and me, all living things upon the earth.
Faithful, faithful is our God. Kamaraoio, o kakakuakua. Faithful, faithful is our God.
In quiet moments, God whispers tenderly the mystery of unending love. For God is good and holds us as we sleep, to wake us with the morning light.
Kamaraoio, o kakakuakua. Faithful, faithful is our God. Kamaraoio, o kakakuakua. Faithful, faithful is our God.
The mercy of our God we try each day to share, to help each other on our way. To be God's hands and heart, God's tenderness and care, God's faithful people in the world.
Kamaraoio, o kakakuakua. Faithful, faithful is our God. Kamaraoio, o kakakuakua. Faithful, faithful is our God.
And so, as we move into our time together, may we be blessed by the light of God, who is faithful with us always. Amen.
Thank you, Karen. That was beautiful. So moving on, Taylor, our fearless leader, I invite you as presider to provide a little bit of an update. And those of you who are members of the executive, if you could raise your virtual hand, so that puts you at the top of the screen, and then folks can know who you are, and I'll just hand things over to you, Taylor.
Sure. Just this morning, I was speaking with the moderator, with the presidents of all of the other regional councils, and we were sharing about what's been going on in our regions. As some of those presidents were speaking, they were actually starting to cry, talking about the state of their regional council, very concerned about the direction things were going in. I thought, well, we're not without our struggles, of course, in Chinook winds, but nothing that I would think is so insurmountable that I would start crying about it in a meeting. It was some flashbacks, I think, to General Council 45, when all the youth were saying about all their outrages they have about how they're treating their regional councils. And my understanding for the Chinook winds youth, they said, actually, we don't think that's our experience. So I want to say that I brought from Chinook winds a message of positivity. We have struggles, but we are trying to address them in a positive way. The ways that we're trying to do that on executive through God's grace is with the priorities that we have set for the actions that we take as an executive, but also direct the staff as well in their work. So we have 4 priorities listed as the executive, the first of which is healthy communities of faith. The second is effective leadership. The third is Indigenous reconciliation. And the fourth is healthy relationships between communities of faith in the region and also with our ministry personnel with their colleagues. Part of this that we're the same as the moderator was hearing from the constituencies of all the regional councils. We try to do that as well. So we've decided we're all going to disperse as the executive to all of your cluster meetings that you're having. We want to try to hear from each of you. I hope over my term to visit every cluster at least once, but you'll also have people from the executive also visiting you to each of those clusters as well. With the work of the executive also, we're hoping to do this. We're taking the show on the road. Our spring meeting we're planning to have in Cochrane. We would like to speak to the churches in the Bow Valley just to hear about what's their experiences have been. So we're hoping to talk to Cochrane United Church, of course, but congregations in Canmore and Banff. We want to hear about what's going on with Airdrie, with their situation as well. So we are very keen to hear from you and take that feedback and reflect it into the work of the region. Of course, we're all looking forward to when we gather together here in the first week of May. We're coming down here to Lethbridge, right here into Southminster for our regional meeting. And we're lifting up one of those regional priorities to be the theme of the meeting. So the effective leadership priority will be lifted up as the theme into provoking leadership. And my gratitude to members of the planning committee who are beginning that work to put on a great meeting for all of us. That's all my remarks I had planned, but I can yield a question if there's any.
You can see Luke Heisa, Nancy Norris, Dave Holmes, and I know Barry Clayton is here somewhere who hasn't raised his hand. So those are some of the folks that are representing the executive
Juan
today.
Olang is also here. I see him.
Oh, there's Olang. There we go. Anybody else hasn't raised their hand? So does anyone have any questions for either Taylor or any of the other members of executive? You can just unmute yourself and ask if you do, or raise your hand, or put them in the chat. All kinds of options. Okay, while you're thinking about that, Nancy, Dave, Olang, or Barry, is there anything you'd like to add about the work of the executive or your experience as a member? Not required, but if you want to, just unmute yourself. Okay. Well, it's good to know we're communicating so well. Nobody has any questions. I guess we're doing our job. So that's great. Thank you for being here, members of executive, and as always, thank you for your service. We are really blessed in Chinook Winds region with gifted leadership, and I agree with Taylor that the experience in the West is different than it is in other places, and it's great to be a part of this community and the culture that we're creating and building together. It's really wonderful, and I feel very blessed to serve in this region and with this executive. So thanks. So we're going to talk a little bit about things that are going on throughout the region, just so that you know what's up and coming. And again, if you've got questions as we go along, can you please just raise your hand virtually or put a note in the chat, and we'll make sure that we respond to your questions. So first, I'm going to ask Anne Yates-LaBerge to raise her hand so we can find you. And she is actually going to talk to us about Naramata Center. Can you spotlight her, Mauricio?
Sorry, I was clapping, not raising my hand. Yes.
There you go.
Okay. Mauricio has the actual files.
Okay, well, you can share that, Mauricio, and go ahead and speak. Sorry, it's the one from Anne from Naramata.
Oh, I'm not. Let me see if I have those.
Or Anne, do you have it? Do you just want sharing privileges?
Sure, I can do that.
Okay,
Yeah,
you
you
should be
can go
able to
ahead and
share.
share.
Okay, 1 second. Sorry.
My apologies. I told her that Mauricio was going to share, and then
You want to skip? You want to come back?
sure. Okay, why don't we do that?
Why don't we-
So, Carrie Copeman Haynes, we'll have her go next. So, Mauricio, do you want to highlight Carrie?
Yep.
Hi, everyone. Great to be here with you, and thanks for the nudge, Treena, to get me hopped onto the meeting. I looked at it this morning. I said, I got to be there. And then I got moving on things. And of course, time slips away.
No problem. I just like people to have an opportunity to get to know
Yeah,
you a little better since you're
absolutely.
relatively new in the role. So it's great to
Perfect.
have you, and thanks for being here.
No, my pleasure. And you asked, are there any updates? And I thought, oh, this is my moment. I can talk about everyone's favorite annual declaration process. I know how some of you feel about dealing with technology, and particularly the fund that is Church Hub. But it is time for us to make our annual declarations again, that we have not had any unwanted attention or interactions with the RCMP in terms of convictions or that kind of thing. And so the way we do that, of course, is by logging into Church Hub. And I always say to people, just keep the date of your last police record check in a note in your phone. Because as long as you know where that thing is filed in your filing cabinet, you don't actually have to have a new one every year. And as long as you haven't had any interactions with the RCMP or any other police. So you can just keep using that same criminal record check, because what you're attesting in that annual declaration is that you haven't had any interactions with them. So keep on attesting. And so that is the basic part of the annual declaration. This year, there's a little bit of a new wrinkle in that we're also asking you to attest to having reviewed, actually read, both our ethical standards and standards of practice for ministry, and also the Creating a Safe and Respectful Environments policy and procedures documents. So there are links inside the annual declaration page or tile in Church Hub, and you actually have to click on those links before you can check the box that says you've read them. Church Hub will not let you complete the process until you click on the links. It's a tricky little tech thing that they've built right into it. So if you have trouble with this, there is a wonderful cheat sheet that Jess has, Karen has, and I have. So if you are struggling with Church Hub, and I have people reaching out to me all the time that say, it must be me. I just don't know why I can never do anything. Partly it's use a PC, not a Mac. Or if you're on a Mac, don't use Safari. Please get into Chrome. That's the best way to do it. So all of this is just, friendly, helpful advice. Everyone in the region does not have to do the declaration, but ministry personnel do. So thank you for the clarifying question, Melinda. This is not actually for everyone. It's for our ministry personnel. And the other thing you'll notice when you get in there is that the deadline is not the end of June, it's the end of April this year. So we're not giving you quite as long to do it. And that that will be to complete the work a little earlier in the year for us folks in the Office of Vocation. So please do it sooner rather than later. It's not a deadline to do it by. It's the moment when those of us who are working in the office have to start scurrying and chasing people. So please save us from chasing you by doing your annual declaration sooner than later. Okay, that's enough about that. One more thing for ministry personnel, and that is that I will be in Calgary next week for the Mountain Candidacy Board meeting, which is happening. Thank you, Summit View, for hosting us with such beautiful and gracious hospitality. And I'm staying a day late because I would love to see ministry personnel over lunch. So you will see in all of the things that Shelley has been sending out this week, there's a link to a jot form. Please join me for lunch, and Karen and I will both be there together co-hosting, and there will be some time of fun and getting to know each other and good food. I can't believe that a couple of theologians have chosen a restaurant called the Imperial Dynasty. It would have been better if we'd gone to the Kingdom of God restaurant, but the Imperial Dynasty was what was close to the airport. So there you go. Have I used up enough time for Anne to get her slideshow going? I will now mute myself and be quiet.
Thank you, Carrie. All right. Anne gave me a thumbs up there, so I think we're good to go. Maybe.
You see?
Now we can see.
I'm not very good with technology, so. Okay. So hi, I'm Anne Yates-LaBerge. I am doing marketing communications for Naramata right now, and this isn't full screen, but we're going to live through it. And I wanted to just give you an update on what's happening at Naramata and let you know sort of what can happen around this summer. And right now there's going to be registration opening on Saturday at 10 a.m. For the summer session programming, and it runs 7 weeks. And I'm especially talking to the United Church people because there's a chance for you to take a new fresh look at Naramata's place in a wider spiritual ecosystems, not just the location that you may have remembered, but it's really active and it's an evolving spiritual community right now. I wanted to be able to take an opportunity for you to understand that there's a newness and a freshness that's happening around the relationship between Naramata and the United Church of Canada. And this summer specifically, there's the theme of living simple rhythms, and with an open-hearted a spiritual community rooted in an expansive Christian story is what all of the programming is rooted and around. So we wanted to make sure that there's an inclusive feel also, so the welcoming all ages, identities, and beliefs. And as just an aside, it's not publicized yet, but you should know that gender neutral washrooms are being arranged for this year on property to be able to say this is a safe space for everybody. And so that'll come out a little bit later, but because I'm speaking to you directly, it'd be nice for you to know. The overall idea of the whole summer is that it's about story, song, optional gatherings, and simplicity. It's not a retreat. You're signing up to be a human in a community for a week. And I wanted to be able to just tell you a little bit more in depth about the programming itself. It's a 7-night stay. In the past, sometimes you've been able to stay shorter weeks. And there's one fee this year. It's $275 for adults and $225 for children. That's all the fees. There's not a fee and then a programming fee or like a registration or anything. That's one flat fee. And there's a much higher commitment, and there'll be more publicity around barrier-free programming, so that that there's a bursary in place, and that will be used for anybody who chooses it. And it's not an application process. It's a matter of just actually declaring it during your registration, and that's it. There's no need to talk to anybody, but a real commitment to be able to have people come and be at Naramata for the week. There's been a ton of work on the registration side and a brand new website. That's been a big hurdle for a lot of people. And so I suggest and request that you go look at that. I guess the highlights of the week are, I don't want to sit here and read these to you, but they're pretty good actually. So breathe in, breathe out, find home is circle singing and a Tai Chi and an indigenous look around. Oh no, hold on. Okay, is that really annoying, the noise?
Just go ahead.
Okay, sorry, there's a guy outside there. The second week is a soul collaging and nourishing and more indigenous work and a yoga in the mornings. This is the third week and fourth week, fifth week, sixth week, seventh week. One thing you'll notice is that there's a spiritual lead in every week, and there's a music lead every week. That's new, that to be able to actually make sure that we're grounded and start at the beginning of the day in some spirituality as a whole. Choir week and gospel week have changed. Gospel week is actually moved, and that's kind of a big deal for some. And the bigger picture is that there's a new chance for us to renew our relationship with Naramata and what it feels like to align. And the purpose is to become thoughtful, inclusive, and grounded and engaged. So one of the things I was hoping to ask for from this group is that this group has a lot of the ability to connect with others. And so on the Naramata website, it's building right now, but basically resources for you to use during your services in slides, and then also little tidbits for you to use in your newsletters and your bulletins and things like that, so that you can actually help spread the word and get people know what's happening at Naramata, and them to be able to actually go to the website and take a look for themselves and possibly sign up. So, and if you need to do things on these lists, you should probably consider coming too. And I'll get to see you there. So anyway, that was really bumbly. I apologize, but.
Well, we appreciate you coming at us from warmer climes. So thanks for being there, and thanks for this. It's really exciting. Naramata has, as you know, been going through a pretty rocky number of years, and there's a real opportunity now for us to live into the future of Naramata and claim it as an ongoing ministry in the United Church and serving both primarily BC and Alberta. So we're very excited to see what the future brings for us. It's financial challenges aren't over, but the first step is to offer vibrant programming, and this is doing that as well as staying connected to our faith tradition.
You said that so much better than me, just an FYI.
Chris, I wonder if you would like to give some updates around First Third Ministry.
Thanks, Treena, and Happy New Year, everyone. A couple things going on in First Third Ministry that I want to draw your attention to. The first in our calendar is Uncharted. This is our senior youth event that we're going to have in Kananaskis country at Camp Chief Hector this February. Registration is still open for participants from Alberta. This is an event for senior high school students, 16 to 17, 18 if you're turning 18 this year. And it's going to be a really great event. It's going to also coincide with our youth council training for this year. So if you have a young adult, excuse me, a youth approaching young adulthood, and they might be interested in connecting with other youth from across the United Church of Canada, February 14th to 16th, we'll be at Camp Chief Hector. And I'm going to drop a link to registration in the chat. On the subject of youth council, Chinook Winds and Pacific Mountain regions made a commitment to having quorum requirements at our AGMs that a certain percentage of the gathered court be under the age of 30. I believe in Chinook Winds Regional Council, we made a commitment to at least 5% of the region being under the age of 30 in order to pass motions for decision. So in addition to our amazing youth council members, there's 6 youth who have committed themselves to working as regional representatives of the youth constituency in Southern Alberta. We need congregations to also send their young people to our AGM. So this is your friendly January reminder that our Chinook Winds AGM is actually closer than you think. We'll be excited to be hosted by Southminster in Lethbridge, excuse me, April 30th through May 3rd. And now is a great time to connect with the young people in your midst to make them aware that there's an AGM happening and that you would like them to be your community's regional rep or be a part of the Youth Council program at the AGM. Next in the calendar this spring, we're so excited to bring children's retreat back to Camp Pringle. That's March or excuse me, Camp Pringle in BC and Kasota East Camp in Alberta. That's April 17th to 19th this spring. That's a retreat for children in our region, 8 to 12. Kasota East was such a great place to host it. We're excited to go back there again, and you can find information on the First Third Ministry website. The final thing that I wanted to draw your attention to after the AGM is over is that this is a collective year. You might have heard of an event called Rendezvous. That was what the collective was previously called. This is our national program for children, youth, young adults that we host collectively with the Presbyterian Church. We will be going back to Brock University in Ontario this July. And registration for that event is open on the following website, and I'll drop the link into the chat. With so many amazing events for children, youth, young adults, I am appealing to communities of faith and to individuals to consider donating to our bursary fund program. These programs are expensive to put on, and we want to make sure that we're offering barrier-free access to children and youth programming in Chinook Winds Regional Council. And that includes being able to offer grants and bursaries to children and youth and young adults who need to access some financial support. I don't have the numbers exactly in front of me, but I'm betting that on average, every program year, there's at least $2,500 that's accessed in bursary fund programming. And we're very grateful to be able to continue to offer financial barrier-free programming, but we need your help, especially to refill our coffers a little bit. And so in the coming weeks, I'll be contacting communities of faith and asking you to maybe put in a little minute for mission in your worship service, and I'll include some slides and some information on how to donate and how your donations have a real impact in the lives of children, youth, young adults in our regions. What are the ages for collective? I believe it is 14 to young adult age. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm sure you can find it on the registration for the website or on the registration page that I dropped in the chat there. Thank you very much, and I'll be happy to take some questions on First Third before I switch over to some of our community of faith networks. And thanks, Nancy, for joining the appeal to contributing to the bursary fund.
Did you see the question, what are the ages for collective?
Yes, and I'm sorry, I don't know I believe the youth program is 14 to 18, young adults is 19 to 25, and then they're also inviting young leaders who are 18 plus. So there's 3 streams, if I remember correctly. There will be some ways in which the region can support youth and young adults to attend that event, but I would encourage communities of faith to consider fundraising for their youth and their communities that want to go.
Great. We're tight on time, so let's go ahead.
Yeah. So, moving on to the work of the region's affirming ministry, I'm still recruiting folks to join the affirming working group in Chinook Wind's Regional Council. Since we became an affirming region, we actually haven't had a full slate on that affirming working group. And I'm glad, very grateful to leaders who've pointed out leaders amongst you who might be interested in advancing the work of our living into being an affirming regional council of the United Church. But I still need your help. I would ideally like to get at least 6 people to serve on the affirming working group. I think I've only had 3 people raise their hands. I understand that there's a lot of commitments on people's time, and I would encourage you, given the states of anti-trans legislation and other threats to the 2S LGBTQ community, as well as the many things that we want to celebrate in affirming ministry and queer theology in the United Church of Canada, to please get in touch and join in the work of being an affirming regional council. There will be some more information coming out in the coming weeks as the Being Right Relations group continues to discern a path forward to an in-person gathering, hopefully in the spring. But I believe that there's members of the working group who are here, of the Being Right Relations group. If you can maybe raise your hands to let you know who you are amongst the council. We're always the committee is always looking for new people to join, especially if you've got a passion for reconciliation ministry within your own congregational life. This is a space to offer resources, support to one another in the ministry of reconciliation ministry, and discern paths forward for the next steps in our reconciliation journey as a church. Finally, I'll just say that while I did not plan this way, I will be going on paternity leave again, and will be missing out on the Chinook Winds AGM this spring. One of my amazing youth council alumni is going to step into my role as a support to the youth council program at the AGM, and I know that she'll do a great job leading folks there, and I'm looking forward to introducing to you perhaps at a future town hall in the spring. But I'm looking forward to catching up with all of you after the AGM is over, as we welcome our new child into our household. So I'll see you again in July.
Thank you, Chris. And I know you'll be back before you go on leave, but I know that everyone will join with me in offering you congratulations on the pregnancy, and look forward to celebrating with you, even though we'll miss you. And I'm not sure I believe you that the timing wasn't. Thank you. Shelley.
Yes, so with the new year, we have clusters taking place, and so in the latest newsletter, there was the schedule of clusters so far, and also what's happening in our cluster gatherings will be Treena Duncan will be coming, and she's going to be leading presentations and discussions on the Toward 2035, which is part of the United Church's strategic plan. And in this last week's newsletter, there was a beautiful video by our moderator who was quite honest about the struggles that we face as a church. But she also affirmed that God is continuing to call us to something new, and she encourages us to pray and to be listening to what that is. And I know that God will answer our prayers. So I hold up that video to you to take a look at that, and also encourage you to participate in clusters. If the date for your own cluster is not going to work for you, please keep an eye out for other clusters and join in with us. And I just popped into the chat there the web link which has our clusters so far, so you can connect there and also through the newsletter. And also, I appreciate greatly the topic for the next Right Relations Circle. I know that I've been disturbed by the narratives that deny the trauma of Indian residential schools, and also the bodies of children. And I'm just going to ask Tony if he will speak about next Tuesday night's Right Relations Circle.
Sure, thank you. So for those that don't know, I'm the Indigenous Minister for Chinook Windsor Region, and the work that I do is working with a lot of non-Indigenous churches and groups that have vested interests around reconciliation work and the history of the residential schools, especially along the lines of the following through on the calls to action. So this video that came out in, I believe, September was called Making a Killing, basically deriding a lot of the work of reconciliation as a cash grab and that sort of thing, very right-wing sort of video. And I just wanted to have a session where we talk about what it's doing and how we combat that, how we think about that, how we take that into our spaces and have conversations that are positive, that can, I think, illuminate some of the misgivings of the report. We're going to go through some of the details of what the video is doing and some of the rhetoric, some of the misinformation that's being put forward, that has been put forward by a number of sources that are academics, PhDs, and others that are working in ways that I think facilitate a questioning by the broader public on issues that are fundamentally racial in origin. So we're going to have that session on Tuesday. There's a rally that's happening tomorrow at UBC, where Francis Widdowson and Dallas Brody, two of the proponents in that video and in some of this work, will be basically trolling the Center for Residential Schools at the campus. So there are going to be some people from Vancouver School of Theology students, VST, who will be there to voice their opposition to that. And so it's been an ongoing issue, especially with the group 1BC, the party that discredited party in British Columbia, having taken a lot of action against Indigenous people and some of their concerns. So it's been very tenuous issue, and that's kind of what I want to get into with some of the groups, and just give us some tools for feedback and for some of your input around things that you think about those issues. Thanks.
Thank you, Tony. It's shocking that we need to be having these conversations. And I truly appreciate the leadership that you're offering. Do you have the date and details for that? If for that gathering, if you could drop those in the chat, that would be really helpful.
Yeah,
and it'll be on the website as well.
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
It's dropped. It's in the chat there. The how to sign up for the Right Relations Circle next week.
Okay. I'm not seeing it, but that's okay. Great. The last
I put it in the wrong spot. Okay.
Okay. That's why I'm not seeing it. Thanks,
Okay.
Shelley. The last thing I want to do is just share some of the upcoming leadership opportunities that are available. Michelle is on study leave this week, so she isn't here with us. So we are really lucky to have all of these leadership opportunities for learning and gathering as community, and want to encourage us to take advantage of the things that are being offered to us as much as possible. We're planning, I don't think there's dates set up yet, but online learning cohort. So the concept is that we'll bring people together to learn about conflict from Susan Nienaber. She is a leading expert on conflict in churches, and some of you experienced an in-person workshop with her. And so she's going to offer an online gathering that will be a series of meetings once per month for 6 months, where we can learn from her, but also receive coaching and debriefing in small groups. So I really encourage you to take advantage of this program. Even if you think you're skilled in conflict, you can't not learn something from this woman. She just has so much knowledge, and she's just a wonderful person. So any opportunity I have to be in a room and learn from her, I'm going to grab it, and I would encourage you to do the same. Um, Many of you will already know there's a clergy retreat that all clergy in Chinook Winds region are encouraged to attend. You've probably already seen the details, but if you haven't, it's not too late. It was a really good experience of gathering together. This year, the facilitator is Britt Earhart, and I think known to some of you. She's from Alberta. And we're really looking forward to this gathering, which is coming up soon. So if you're interested, please get on that. But really encourage ministry personnel to attend and take advantage of that. We have also in February, Decolonization is a community act. This is a gathering that's actually happening in BC, but is open to both regions, and is being sponsored, led with Indigenous leadership. And folks who attended this, I'll leave you to read the screen yourself, but folks who attended this event last year said it was one of the most transformational and exquisite learning opportunities that they've had around decolonization, and really encourage anybody who's able to take advantage of this to attend. And it doesn't hurt that it's at Camp Firkham on Gambier Island. It's absolutely beautiful there. And if you have any questions, reach out to Jess or myself, or next week to Michelle Slater, and we can help get you more information about that. And if finances are a barrier, also reach out to us. And as there has been significant grant funding to help support people's participation in this program. We also have the Festival of the Faith North, and the theme of this gathering is going to be around collaborative and cooperative ministry. Part of the 2035 work is around how we can be more strategic about our partnerships to work together towards a rich and beautiful future for the church. So we'll have some opportunities to be in plenary. And Andrew Richardson, who is a colleague of Carrie's, also an Office of Vocation leader, but has been tasked with the leadership of the national project on collaborative ministry. And there's some really, really interesting and exciting things that are being thought about and talked about. And so there's lots of opportunity for creativity. It does focus around smaller churches, rural churches, and it isn't only about, pushing you towards amalgamation or anything like that. It is about how can we work together better, and that can be within your own community, that can be within your own church. It doesn't necessarily mean partnerships with other United Church congregations, although that may be one thing that it's about. But really encourage you to try to get there. Being held in Prince George, so it's fairly accessible from Calgary. There's a direct flight. And if you've got questions, you can reach out to us, any of us, again, to talk about that. The last thing I want to talk to you about is the Sowing Promise event. Sowing Promise was an event that we did in BC Conference a number of times, which was an event that was designed to work with excellent leaders to provide support and some skills and development community to empower us in our ministry going forward. And it was a really great, successful event. And we've been trying to figure out how to do that event again. And we realized that right now, maybe what we need is something different. And so we're doing a renewal and revitalization pathway in the Sowing Promise series. So it's an 8-month program. that begins online and ends with an in-person gathering. And there's going to be more information coming up about this, but I just want to flag it for people. It's for people in leadership, primarily ministry personnel. And its leadership is being offered through the Kineo Center. It's a partnership with the Kineo Center that operates out of Puerto Rico and the regions. And it takes us through a process using the Enneagram of understanding ourselves and our ways of working and engaging and the things that we carry with us in our backpacks, the hurt and the pain, as well as the joys, and allows us to kind of go deep with that and then think about developing a plan so that we can be healthy and effective as we engage in ministry in the future. So it's a fantastic program, and I want to put it on your radar so that you're saving some continuing education money for that. But we don't want finances to be a barrier. So if it's something you really feel called to participate in and finances are the barrier, do talk to us. But this will be able to be put over 2 years of continuing education budget because it's running over the 2 calendar years. So it's going to be sort of fall of 2026 and spring of 2027, with the in-person gathering being in the spring of 2027. The leaders, if you go to the next slide, are Dan and Tanya White. These are the dates. And they run the Kineo Center. They're two clergy people who, Dan in particular, suffered from burnout, and they kind of developed this program in response to that to help other people in ministry leadership. So can't recommend this enough. Also, I don't have a slide. You can go to the next slide, Mauricio. I don't have a slide, but there will be another Guatemala expedition that we'll be offering in August. So if there's folks that are interested in journeying together as a community to learn about life in other parts of the world and how faith sustains and some of the parallels with our Indigenous culture here and what we can learn from those things, don't hesitate to reach out to me, and there'll be more promotion coming out about that pretty soon. So there is a fire hose of opportunity, and thank you so much for being here with us today. If you have any questions about any of what we've covered, I'm happy to respond to those. But if folks need to be hopping on to the next thing, we'll stop the formal part, and then I can just hang around if people have questions. I don't think we clarified this, but Karen, are you closing us in prayer?
You hadn't clarified it, but I can do it.
Thank you. I said worship, but I didn't specifically say bookends. So thanks for your flexibility.
No worries, Treena. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for all being here. And let us take a moment of prayer to end our time together. God of light and mystery, the one who breathes us into life itself. We thank you for this opportunity to see the life-giving opportunities in our communities of faith and in the region. We give thanks for the leadership that was offered today, for all of the opportunities yet to be. And as we go from this place, may we carry the light of Christ in all of our hearts so that we may be a light into a darkening world. We ask for your blessing upon us as we leave this place in the name of the risen one, who is the light of the world. Amen.
Well, thank you, everyone. If you do have a question, just unmute yourself, and blessings to you all on your week and on your journey, and look forward to the next time when we gather.